Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
We keep doing what we're doing. Wow. I think today, man, you got anything in particular on your heart you want to hit on?
I didn't until you said that. Sure. Nah, man, I was sitting there. That's why I took my lunch. I said I need to take my time and get some new insights and information, and those are still in the crock pot. But you said something, how you perceived yourself or your appearance until you saw a view from a higher perspective.
Come on.
And even from that perspective, the same person with a different view had a different perception of what he was looking at. And I was just like, how often do we have the wrong view because we have the wrong perspective? And then the B side of that is how we see ourselves versus how the Creator sees us from His view.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
I was waiting. You didn't hit that.
I had to land the plane. I had to land the plane.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. So you already know me when I hit that. It's like I'm getting the download. I'm like, oh shoot. So man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's all that's ringing in my ear right now. So I'm open. I'm interested in what you thinking about.
Yeah, I think just kind of I'll piggyback on that before I dive in there. I think it makes me think a lot about the view of who we are. It's important for us to always be reminded and remember, know who you are, and have be centered with the source and all those things, but really understanding whose you are. Right? Because regardless of the view of how we see ourselves, none of us are perfect, regardless of how imperfect we think we are, regardless of the mistakes we may have made, regardless of the things we continue to fumble the ball on.
Yes, sir.
Regardless of those things, we're still His, and we're still made in His likeness. And the identity of who we are lies in Him,
right?
Not of our own understanding,
right?
So I love that you jumped in there on that, because I think that's a really cool thing to hit on. But we all need to be reminded of that. We get into our trying to be the best version of ourselves, which we want to do those things for sure, but then we got to give ourselves some grace and forgiveness too as we're operating, because at the end of the day we think we got the plan, but we really don't.
You lost me back a couple statements ago. You lost me. You went too deep too fast. I got dizzy. I'm like, wait a minute. You said we all trying to be a better version of ourselves despite all the hardships, all the difficulties. Is our best version of ourselves always a better version? So I'm thinking this. We always are striving in our minds for this so-called better version or best version of ourselves. But sometimes what's going to be the future best version requires us to take a step back
let some things go.
In this season, and it appears this is less than, this is not my best self, but your future self needs this step in order to become your future best self. But if in the striving for being always showing up as our best self, sometimes the best self may not feel like the best version of yourself today. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. I think, man, I'm glad you said you hit that too. That takes me somewhere, and I won't go too deep, but I did have a conversation with somebody that's close to me today.
Right.
And I won't dive too deep into it, but the gist of it that we discussed was, the goal is to be the best version of myself, but like you said, really the goal is to be the best version of learning yourself.
That's it. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Well said.
And so
Wow.
I
like that.
Like how I operate, is different than how you operate.
Right.
There's some certain things that make you happy that are not a priority to me.
Right.
Or some things that make me happy that are important to me that's not a priority for you. You know what I'm saying? And so we each have to figure out those things that are important to us, what makes us happy, what we don't do well, what we do well. So yes, you're learning the world. I think the bigger picture is what's most important for us is to learn ourselves
in that world.
Wow. And then in saying that, in being the best version of ourselves, sometimes we got to let some stuff go. Like you said, take a step back and realize that's not for me. Like I'm doing all of these things, everybody else is doing this stuff, but really that's not my lane. That's not the thing that the big man has given me. Like we all have different gifts and talents that the big man has given us.
So we're judging oftentimes our perceived best version based upon the images that others have shown us is their best version.
Yeah.
And so maybe we're already showing up in this season as the best possible version of who we are, but we're seeing it from the wrong perspective because we're not looking at it in the perspective of our journey and our walk. We're looking at our walk through somebody else's footprints.
Or lenses.
Or that.
Come on. And I think, and we've talked before a lot about just doing you, being yourself, doing your thing. We talked about that a lot. But I think when we allow ourselves to hone in and focus in on our personal journey, and I don't think it's selfish. I'm not saying it in a selfish
Right. Yeah.
I'm saying it in a manner of knowing that you're working, like in doing all of the things that you need to do to be the best version of you.
Right.
It allows you to be the best version of yourself so you can give the best version of yourself to others.
Yeah.
And so, the beauty is learning yourself, and what happens is you organically eliminate distractions. Come on, you know that life. Come on. Organically, what happens is you get in your lane and you have the blinders on. You're not worried about what everybody else is doing or what everybody else is thinking, right? Organically, great things start to happen for you, and you become, you get in alignment with your assignment.
Come on, man. Take it back.
Come on. Come on. And that's a great place to be. Because you understand and you live and learn and see that that's your lane.
You gave us a blast from the past with alignment for your assignment. Right now, my wife's car is in need of alignment. And I don't drive it as much as she does. So she may be ahead of me in noticing that it's out of alignment. So when I get in it, I'm like, everything's fine, but she'll drive it and say, no, don't you feel it pulling?
Give it to him. Come on.
And I'm like, not really. But how I believe, what made me believe her was not even that I felt it pulling. I looked at the tires. So as I get down on the ground and I'm laying there looking at the tires, it shows that inside toe. This is the problem, is sometimes how easily we can be drifting out of alignment, but we're not even looking at the right signs. Why are we rubbing? Why do we keep dragging? Why is our fuel mileage low? It's so many other indicators that we're missing because we're looking for just one, what's the word I'm trying to use? One problem.
Yeah, and don't see the other things that create the problem, that got you to the problem, the maintenance that you didn't do that gave you the problem. You're not even riding it, so you don't even really know the problem. You just hear about the problem, but until you know and have traveled that journey, is the only time you know that problem of being to get yourself.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just that little bit that we hit on is so deep, you know. I just reflect on where you and I are personally.
Yeah.
Like all of those things that we talked about, we don't know that if we haven't lived and experienced that.
Facts. See, so that's back to the best version of ourselves. The experience that we had to go through is now what fuels the next version. So who would we be tomorrow if we weren't aware of where we are today and of the missteps that we took yesterday?
Yeah, man. That's so good. Well, let's work that down. So I think the first thing you talked about is awareness.
Right.
We have to have a keen sense of awareness of who we are, where we are.
Right. Yes, that.
Whose we are.
Right. Yeah.
Operate.
Yeah.
The choices and things that we do, it don't just affect us, it affects everybody around us. I think that's the first thing, the awareness piece. And I always say this, so anybody that's heard me speak or heard me talk, they know I'm going to say this. You know, my mom growing up used to say, boy, it ain't about you.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we learn the awareness piece of understanding that it's bigger than us,
Yeah.
it's a bigger purpose.
Yeah.
Then I think that helps us with the awareness, because we're seeking for those opportunities to learn and grow, opportunities to be of service,
Right.
opportunities to take those things that we experience and use those to be a blessing to others, to give service to others, right? So that's the awareness piece. But then you talk about the going back and the reflecting, like the experiences, man. I love the experience piece, and what I do, I always encourage people to, hey, man, live life to the fullest and have those experiences.
Right.
Like, don't be afraid to have experiences, because in those experiences you're gonna learn so much, man. Like don't be afraid to, don't be hesitant to.
Right.
No. Go do it and have fun and learn the experience. You know, you bump your head, you'll learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go the wrong way, you'll learn. So now you can take that and share that with others and say, hey, yeah, don't do that, because when I did that, I bumped my head. I don't want you to bump your head. I don't want you to have to get out of alignment in your life. Because, like, I know what I've done to run over those rocky patches, if you will, to get my vehicle out of alignment.
Right.
Come on. I don't want that for you.
So I'm understanding everything that you said, and I'm seeing a person that is about to go into a hardship. But the truth is, for me, I'll speak, I don't want to go into a hardship solely so I can help the next person. I just don't. I prefer comfort rather than experience if I foresee the only benefit from the experience is to help the next person.
Right.
I only personally go into that experience with the right mindset if I see a primary benefit for me, and then as a secondary benefit, I can also help others.
Right.
And so I think that going into it, our perspective will determine if we fully commit to that process. If I'm just doing this so Chip could be better, Chip my dog, hey, that's cool. I'm gonna go into it, and we used to say half stepping. Even if I mean well, my intentions are I love you, you my dude, but I ain't going in with the veracity as if this is gonna make me better.
Yeah.
And so now I'm processing my own motivations, and all that. It's really, I'm having an inventory in what you said. I guess there's some conviction there.
Yeah. I mean, I love how you say that, because I think that goes along with the individual journey that we started talking about when we started, right? Each person has their individual journey, individual priorities. So I'm gonna go opposite of what you just said, right? And so, like you talked about your perspective and going into it and you're learning. So for me, when I view things, I look at it, of course, it has to start with the individual, and you got to attack the challenges that you have in your life.
Right.
Because if you don't figure out ways to attack the challenges in your life, then you don't attack the challenges in your life.
Facts.
So you got to have the inner core essence about you. If I'm a tough joker and I do tough things.
Yeah, that part.
Like it starts there.
It starts there, yeah.
Right. Now, the core essence of once you get into those tough challenges, like for me personally, right, if I'm in a tough situation, i.e. First experience in college, when they're trying to kill you out there with the running test, right? If I just think about me, then I'll quit and come home.
That part, yeah.
But in that tough challenge, I thought about my family and my mama and what they did to sacrifice to allow me to be here to do this. Right? I thought about all of the things that the people have poured into me and encouraged me
to get you to this moment.
To get me to that moment.
Yeah.
Like all of those kids at home that were looking up to me, saying like, if he can do that from where we from, then it's possible that I can too. And so in that tough moment, I thought about those things, and that helped me propel through the tough challenges to get on the other side of those things.
That's good.
And so for me, with the perspective of how I approach it is, like, I feel that we have to find the why and the purpose by which we do things personally. And you have to learn that about yourself. Yeah. Because what happens, like, every one of us are going to go through some tough times and challenges. Nobody's immune from that. I don't care who you are. Right? And so when we get to those times, like, what are you using to help propel you to the other side of that? Because, on the other side of your toughest challenges are your maximum growth. Right. Absolutely. Come on, man. Let me say that one again.
Absolutely.
On the other side of those toughest challenges is your maximum growth.
Right.
So when you get on the other side of that challenge, okay, now me getting through that challenge of that obstacle, now I can get my college degree. Now I can get a job where I can help take care of my family, which that's what I was focused on when I was working through that challenge.
To push you through it.
Yeah, now I can be an example for my family to show the kids in my family that, we're capable of doing those things. I.e. now my niece is an athletic director. Now I can share those tough experiences with people that I come across, and tell them, about my experience, and it not be fluff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I.e. me speaking to some kids this weekend to tell them this is exact same experience, right? Which is going to help them when they get in tough times. So for me, I think it goes back to the awareness of all of that, right? I think it goes back to learning your personal thing that is your priority that pushes you, right? Because in learning that, then that's how you push yourself.
Gotcha.
To get through those. So I can't sit here and say, you know, how you explain like your view and your motivation. I can't sit here and say, Mr. Avery, you wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. That's all crazy, right? Yeah.
Like, why would I do that? First
Right.
off, you know, but then secondly, like, you know, your drive and your motivation is your drive and your motivation, and there's beauty in that.
Right.
My drive and my motivation is my drive and my motivation, and there's beauty in that, right? And the beauty of all of that is that we can come together and share those things with others, so that whatever their drives and motivation, they can resonate with whoever.
Wow. Okay. So in this cookie cutter, follow me on this, do this. If we don't have the awareness to own our own authenticity, I like what you said, so much so that mentally, if I'm not committed to my process, I'll try to mentally switch to your process. Because emotionally, that didn't feel bad. It felt bad, vulnerable to admit that about my own character. Like, I don't really like that about me. I need to do something with that. Maybe I come on the other side and try it.
Yeah, let me see what that feels like.
Yeah. So, oh man. So how many people are actually showing up back to the best version of themselves? Is your best version a beautiful facsimile of somebody else?
Oh yeah, it's I think it's bits and pieces. I mean, like as I heard you saying that and describing that, like I was thinking about all of those people that have made a positive impact in my life.
Gotcha.
And I'm taking bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, you know, my father, my grandparents, Reverend Gentry.
Yeah.
You know, Coach Reader. Like I'm as you're saying, I'm taking in
Mr.
Avery.
Yeah.
Like,
all the people.
Like all those people that have poured into me that I've been blessed and to be around. I love that about them. Like, I need to try to adopt that. I love that about them. And so really you're just piecing it together and making it your thing.
So then is anybody truly an original if we are all a mosaic of all the people that went before us and influenced us? I mean, your fingerprint is identical only to you. Nobody else has that fingerprint. But what you do with that fingerprint, you know, you can use your fingerprint to put your hands in the walk of fame on Hollywood, or you use that same hand to check in when they taking you into custody, right? But what you do with that,
it's up to you.
Wow.
Like I'm looking at like as we're doing, I'm looking at this balloon.
Yeah.
As I heard you say that, I'm looking at this balloon that's here, and the balloon. Just looking at that thing, it's got so many colors.
Right.
Some of them colors I ain't never even seen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before in my life.
Yeah, that's in the big box. That's 64.
Yeah, that's
box.
the big thing. with the sharpener.
With the sharpener in it.
The 64.
That's the 64 box.
With the sharpener.
Yeah.
It's got all them colors in there, and it says on there happy birthday.
Right.
But like I think I looked at that as like us, right? Like there's a lot of different balloons in the world that you're gonna come across that say happy birthday. Right now this one is really colorful.
Right.
And I'm just thinking of a person. There's some people in the world that's really colorful.
Right.
But God made them that way, and they still have value.
Absolutely.
It's some people in the world that's just a red balloon.
Right. Yeah.
That say happy birthday.
I see that.
You know what I'm saying?
I see that.
And it's not as colorful as that one.
Right.
But if somebody just gave me the red balloon that said happy birthday, I'd be grateful to get that. You know, so, and it has value.
Wow.
And so all of us in our lives, regardless of the colors, regardless of what we bring together, I think it's still one being which makes up the fingerprint.
Right.
But it's individualized to you, although you're taking from those colors and different flavors, different people, and you bring it all together. It's still a body of from whose we are, you know, which has value, which can be of service and give so much value to the world and so much to others.
So what I got from what you shared was the beauty of the balloon is its own thing.
Yeah, man.
But what gives it the intrinsic sentimental value is in large part to who gave it to you. when you can appreciate that, regardless to if it's multicolor or one red balloon or one green, it's not just the color, though the color matters. Blue is my favorite color, and it's blue. But even if I don't like red, but Chip gave me this red balloon, now I'm wearing red because of the honor and the love that I have for the giver of that gift.
The awareness.
There we go.
That's the awareness.
There we go.
That's the awareness.
Wow.
So when you have that awareness in any situation you go into, you're gonna be all right.
Right.
Because your perspective.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so much more about the perspective than even the subject.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Wow. Yeah, that's a thesis right now.
Oh man. So good.
So we weren't supposed to go too deep in that one, but we ended up there. What was your initial concept? There's still a lot of meat left on that bone.
There's still a lot of meat left on that bone. I think I was so blown away with that. I don't even know if I remember.
Yeah. Mama say you're sitting there playing with your food. Yeah, we ain't even really processed that one. We just picking at it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's been on my heart is the beauty of opportunities.
Oh,
right?
sorry.
No, you good, brother. You know, like even kind of what we talked about, it brings opportunities in your life. You know, where we are in our life, we're blessed to have some opportunities where we come across some really cool people to learn from, to pour into, right? To do life with, to grow with, to share the journeys. What's really cool is when we've been able to pour into some people based off of the things that we've learned, to see them instill those things and see them get opportunities from that as well.
Yeah.
And I say that from the most humblest place I know. Right? That's from the heart, right? I'm not saying, hey, I've done this. I'm not saying it that way.
No, well, it's like you say, opportunities bring opportunities.
Opportunities bring opportunities, man. And that's what I had some things this week that have really blessed my heart because of that, man. So good.
How's Evan?
Oh, he's great, man. That's kind of prime example of what I was hitting on.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, just seeing and we can go somewhere with this. You might like this. I'm gonna throw this. I heard one of my guys when he posted a shout out to Gabe Fogelman. He heard him say this before. You got to sow to grow.
Right. Right.
And so you gotta sow those seeds, man. Gotta be intentional to sow those seeds in order for you to have growth, in order for the seeds to grow, to produce greatness and bear great fruit. Gotta sow to grow. Whew. Process that a little bit, huh?
So me and you have roots from a particular part of Texas.
Come on.
Where even now I'm in HEB and I'm looking.
Watermelon.
Come on, man.
I know where you going.
Oh, I'm so frustrated.
I know where you're going.
I'm so frustrated right now because they keep giving me this seedless stuff.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Oh man, and it looks so pretty. But when you cut it open,
it ain't the same.
I threw a whole watermelon away. Cut it up, diced it up, pulled it out. I like to cut it like the long popsicle version. Pulled it out, took a bite, looked at my wife, shook my head. She said, "What?" I said, "Baby, this is trash." She said, "No, let me taste it. I gave her one, the same look. She said, "Oh, baby, what you want to do?" I said, "I'm throwing the whole thing away." And so when you talk about you got to sow to grow, the beauty of that is you got to sow a seed now that you may or may not be here to see the yield, to see the harvest.
You say that again to me.
I mean, you got to sow seed now even though you may or may not be here to see the result of the harvest. And so when I think about these what they call it, GMOs, modified product, genetically modified.
Yeah.
Problem is that the fruit does not taste the same. It looks like watermelon.
Hey, I'm gonna hit you with Mr. Avery.
Man, it even smell like watermelon. Man, my kitchen, boy, I might as well just use that thing like some potpourri and just cut it open and just sit it on the counter and let it effervesce my kitchen. But it had no value to internalize. It just looked good. Man, you done messed me up with this one, because I'm thinking, had I left it at that place to just look good and not taste it, I would have been cool. But I expected to be filled from it, that it wasn't just a good looking watermelon, it was a good tasting watermelon.
Yeah.
And so, because this generation is not being taught the process of delayed gratification, there's not enough as you and I get older, and now we the OGs on the block.
Yeah.
But we got to put back into the youngsters, don't just take all the harvest, because they all about chasing the bag, getting this, getting the money. No, I need you to stop and take something out of the bag and leave some seed for the ones coming behind you that you may not even live to be here and see the harvest.
It's good.
So the growth sometimes may not be for my growth. It may be for the growth of future generations. It may be for the growth of my children and my grandchildren. That's what I just heard you say in this grandfather age that I am in legacy. That, oh man, that's so rich. You done messed me up.
Yeah,
You done messed me
I
up.
love that. You took him home, literally.
Yeah.
House watermelon. Literally, you took him home. Yeah, it's so good. But I think I can also tie that to the awareness piece as well.
Back to that.
You know, when you are aware of how you're sowing and how your actions, and when you are aware of how that makes a difference in the lives of others, you're more intentional about
That part. That's the word.
Sowing.
That's the word I keep hearing. Intentionality.
Like you're gonna make sure that there's fertile soil.
Yeah. Wow.
You're gonna make sure that you've taken time to fertilize and put it in the right environment. The seed that you sow, you're gonna make sure that you take the time that you're intentional about making sure it gets sunlight and proper water and proper nutrients. Like you don't just sow this kind of seed,
Yes, sir.
and just let it grow.
Yes, sir.
on
Right.
its own.
Wow.
Like you nurture it.
Yeah,
Right?
wow.
You ensure that there's some pruning going on.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Right, so that you don't have weeds around and it's protected. Right, and so when you sow that type of seed, you are aware the fruit that comes out of that it lasts forever. it is a legacy.
Right.
Right, it's a legacy fruit. Right, it's it carries on, and I can say that from experience. You know, there's some things that was said to me by my mother that was said to her by her mother that was said to her by her mother.
Yeah.
And vice versa on my father's side. There was some things that was said to my father that was said to him by his parents, or then by their parents, and now it's instilled in me. And it's some things, the culture of service, the nature of hard work, the nature of being good people, the nature of taking care of people. All of those things, those seeds were sown a long time
Yes,
ago.
sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
Right, and really, I'm striving to do the work now, but like that's what was instilled in me with the seeds that were sown. And then I've been blessed and fortunate to see and watch them as a young guy, walk that out.
Right.
Like you can say one thing, but do your Are you walking the talk?
Right.
Are your actions in alignment with what you say? But when they are, man, come on, that's that legacy fruit.
Man, that's. I had about 3 different neurons switch off, and I'm like, wow.
Gone.
So I'm riding yesterday. I went to pick my grandson up from work, and as we're driving, it was raining real bad over here.
Bad all day.
Yeah.
Most of the day. Man,
and so I'm taking him home, and he's like, "Oh, I just wish it would quit raining." And I thought to myself, "You don't like to eat, huh?" But I didn't say it, because I'm processing that. Because now I'm thinking in this vein of, well, do we really need rain to have food now in this day where we're manipulating growth and farms and all? But yeah, so I'm thinking back about that. Yeah, but I had all this in my head, and I had a whole mental conversation like, you don't like to eat, huh? And just that question, if we could appreciate the rain for what it is doing and not for the inconvenience of this moment. How often do we underappreciate the rain? New Edition said, "Can you stand the rain?" On a perfect day, I know I can count on you, but we need somebody, man, who understands I need this rain today, so I can have harvest tomorrow. Because that depends on our attitude in the rain. I had a different perspective of the rain. I appreciated the rain.
Yeah.
Where he was like, the rain is keeping me from doing something.
Yeah. Going back to awareness and perspective.
That's the hinge pin.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what this age in 50s is. It's more awareness.
Yeah. And I think I would say, playing on that too, yesterday being Father's Day.
Wow.
I think a lot of times when it gives us a deeper reflection on those days, you say, like, we've talked about several times, me, you, and KJ,
right?
As you get older, you start losing those people that are important to you. And you go through life's toughest thing. For me, as a person, is seeing the people that are the strongest people I know go to where now I have to take care of them. And so just when you get to those holidays, if you will, your Father's Days, your Christmases, Mother's Days, Thanksgiving, all of those. When you get to those holidays, you reflect on having them. And then it makes you reflect on, okay, now I am to people. Come on. Now I am to people what they were to me.
Or not.
Or am I?
Or am I? Yeah.
Or am I living?
Because I'm still looking back. Through the rearview mirror instead of understanding. No, you might look out the side window and see you're them now. You become. The big one, dog. Wow. Wow. And so if I'm not careful, I will miss the opportunity to show up in my grandson's life to fulfill those moments that my grandfather and uncles and all those people were intentional about in that moment. Because I really don't remember what a lot of my elders, my great uncles, I don't remember what they did for a living. I sure don't know how much money they had or made. But I know that when I came around, their world stopped.
You were the life of the party. Everything revolved around you.
And so when I reflect on my childhood, there's people that say, "Oh man, I had a rough childhood." I had a phenomenal childhood. Despite we grew up, we like you say, we were poor. We didn't know we were poor. So were you really poor? If that's really your story, right? But it was so many people that when I walked in the room, they let it be known that my presence made a difference to them. That's what helped to sow those seeds for me to show up for people now. Come on, man, you about to make me cry now.
Sow to grow, baby. Come on.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's deep.
Wow.
It's really deep.
Wow. I'm grateful.
Yeah. I'm grateful for it all.
Yeah.
So on that, I'm gonna share this story with you. So, my grandmother on my dad's side, on my dad's side of the family, they live in Dallas.
Okay.
And so, we would go, visit, my dad, and we would go, he'd always hit up my grandmother, and she'd come by, right?
Yeah.
And she'd come in the house. And like you say, the world stopped, right?
Right.
Like, baby, go out to the car, look behind the driver's seat,
right.
seat, and it's a blue bag back there. Grab that blue bag and bring that blue bag in.
Yeah.
Right? So you bring the blue bag in, and she dig in that bag. I got something for you, baby. Right? And so, I don't know why, but it always seemed like every time I came around, she always had a gift for me, right?
Yeah.
And really, this good right here. Even when she didn't have me go get the blue bag, if you will,
right,
or the wrap,
right,
it was always a gift to be around her.
Yeah, come on, man.
Just to have her presence,
come on,
and
man.
that smile.
Yes, sir.
And,
her presence was the present.
Her presence was come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Your presence is the present. And so, man, I just think about, like, as we're reflecting on those opportunities, sowing the seeds, it's important that we understand that, yes, our presence is the present.
Right.
And we do have value.
Wow.
Sometimes we get in the mix, we forget about that. We forget that we're important to some people. Like we like, man, we bring a smile on their face just by being there.
Come on, man.
Like sometimes we forget those things, and we just have to be reminded of that.
Wow. See, this should have played before Father's Day. Yeah, because I'm a little mad at myself right now. Because if I'd have heard this Saturday, I would have been more intentional in Sunday. Because I was in such a place, my kids are all grown now, and so they got their own lives and doing their own thing, and that's what I wanted them to do. But I'm sitting there and I'm looking, like, really ain't none of these Negroes gonna come see their daddy? Now they done told me where they at, what they doing, and I'm cool. I'm like, man, I'm loving that they're living life on a level that I may or may not have achieved, depending on which child I'm talking to, and I'm still cheering. Like, man, that's cold. But bring me some pictures. But it's the but. I'm like,
but
you ain't got time to come by and Now the whole time my grandson is living with me. And he had to go to work for a couple hours, but did I rob him of the moment that he had his grandfather? I've never had like living interaction with my grandparents. My grandmothers, but grandfathers, I only know them through photos. But in the moment that my grandson is present in my house, living under my roof, I feel like I cheated him. I feel like I cheated him because of what you just said. Did I appreciate the fact that just my presence was the present?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about
your present,
my present in the present.
Yeah. And bring me some presents. Bring daddy some presents.
Wow.
Yeah. I love the internal reflection and the self looking at yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where it starts with us having growth. We have to be able to look at ourselves and say, self,
yeah,
what you doing?
Come on, man.
Come on, self.
Come on, man.
We have to be able to look at ourselves, and I think that's another part of being intentional too.
Yeah, facts.
You know, like that's intentional growth. Like not wanting to be the same, and not the best version of yourself.
Wow.
You know, going back to where we started. You know.
So we'll miss opportunities to tweak this good version of ourselves today if we're afraid to take a look at the things that are less attractive.
Yeah.
That we don't even like about ourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll never become the best version tomorrow if we don't look at the things that we don't like, that don't serve us well, or those that we're supposed to be influencing.
That's good.
Now.
I think just hearing you say that reminds me of how important it is for us. And you said something else earlier about, hey, slow down and be in the moment.
Right.
And then adding on to that, and get the reflection time each day. Right, like be intentional about having that reflection time so that you can have those growth moments, if you will. But then at the end of the day, that's not just a personal thing. That's a growth in relationships. You know, reflecting.
Wow.
That's a growth reflecting in business, you know, if you will. Whatever it is you're striving to be better at, like, have those reflection moments of, you know, where am I? Check-ins, if you will.
Wow, yeah. You
know, what did I do good at? Man, be proud of that. Keep doing more of that. Ooh, man, I blew that.
Yeah.
I gotta be better on that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the beauty of it is you can get better on that.
Wow. That's the film that I love about football, man. I love that part.
Yeah.
To study the tape.
Yep.
And the greatest players, most of them usually spent
more time doing that.
More time in the film room than they did maybe even in the weight room.
Yep. Yeah, there's a saying they would say, I heard this when I was in college, the eye in the sky don't lie. Right?
Back to your waves.
Yeah.
Back to your waves. I'm like, man, you tripping. Come up here and look and see what I see. Don't brush your hair, don't put nothing on it. Just come up a little higher.
The eye in the sky don't lie. But I mean, we can look at that. That could be film, but I think more importantly, that's a God thing.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
Just tapping into that.
I think that's one of the things I enjoy about flights. I don't really enjoy most things about booking an airline ticket and flying and boarding and bag check, all the things that you have to do in order to catch a flight somewhere. But the thing that makes it worth it all to me is to get up so high and you realize how big the world is, but simultaneously to recognize how small a person down, when you're 30,000 feet in the air, how small a person is, and yet God is even higher than 30,000 feet, and yet the Bible says he knows the number of hairs that are on our head.
Come on.
And you sitting here in this chair right now getting a haircut, and God knows that's 3,421 hairs now. Yeah. That just messes me up, man, to know that out of all the universe, that God is that all-knowing.
Yeah.
At the moment it happens, dynamic, that he knows what is happening to us. That he's putting those thoughts and ideas in our minds as we're talking now, while being everywhere else all at the same time with all power. Not a diminished version. The Wi-Fi signal is low because of the amount of users that's on it. He is as potent no matter how many users there are.
Come on.
And that just messes me up in this moment of what you just said.
That gives us hope.
And that is why he is God and we are not.
It gives us hope. God.
Yes, sir. Wow. Wow, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for allowing us to have the moment like this. I was telling my guy earlier, I'm grateful for the opportunity that, for us to do this, because this is, it's a treasured space.
Yeah, facts.
And so to be able to do it, I think we see that it's bigger than us. Which I think this is a blessing to so many people. And like, I've told you before, it's been people that I didn't even know that saw my stuff that have reached out to me, hit me up and said, hey man, I love those barbershop talks, man. Like just
see.
And that, sow it. Yeah, sow it.
Wow. Man, thank you for that. You just I realize from this conversation I'm not present enough. I'm so focused because I got a few things that's big that's happening right now, and so I'm so focused on what about this dude then, and this got to happen tomorrow, and this permit, and this, all the things, right? That when am I here? When I'm here, and I'm hardly ever here. I'm hardly ever here.
That's good. That's good. That's so good. Back to the presence being the presence,
bro.
I think we can all work on that too. Like I think it's especially, again going back to the Father's Day piece. Being the providers, having the things on your plate. Because you have people and stuff to take care of. So, of course, like your intention is
true.
Like everything I'm doing, it's intentional. It's
right.
for a purpose.
Yeah.
Like we got bills to pay.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I got people depending on me. I got mouths to feed. I got hey, I'm gonna go back on you. Them old man, little crumb snatchers.
Right. Yeah.
Up all the food,
come on, man.
drinking up all the good.
Especially summertime.
Yeah. Summertime. Yeah. They ain't in school. Eating up all the food.
Yeah.
Eating inside the house at home. All of them, all those little sayings like that. But man, even with that, I'm thinking about like my dad and my grandfather, and and the best times we've had is when we really wasn't doing them. We were just hanging out with the time.
I don't remember too many extraordinary events that was happening. It was us sitting around playing in the yard, playing out on Red Hill, just sitting down on the church stoop with Grandma and made us some peanut butter jelly sandwiches and eating some fresh, good old watermelon. Some of the best moments playing with my cousins now. Wow.
And it's just those moments that we remember most,
Wow. It's more, really less. And if I was the enemy of the future, I would cause our young people to become so, what's the word?
Inundated.
Yeah.
That's the word. With stuff that's not even important. Come on.
I mean, that's the whole trick. To watch in the barbershop on a Saturday, a room full of young people, and all of them are like this. One of my clients is a chiropractor. He says, man, I have more young people under the age of 18 as my clients now than I ever have had before because of their curvature alignment. Their backs are all out of whack in their necks because they're always like this from looking at their phones. And so if our enemy can keep our children preoccupied, for one, if he has their focus, he has their future. Because he's controlling the image and then controlling their time being consumed instead of sitting in a room like this shop often is as a plate where they can be fed. They're following somebody else that's a so-called influencer. What are they influencing them to do? Because what we're influencing them to do is often much more impactful and positive than the influences they following. Some dude that's eating cereal in a bowl with a do-rag on at 3 a.m. is who holds their attention. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for asking the question to do this, because honestly today I was really in my own head like, okay, I'm gonna have just a pretty quiet day at the shop, just kind of come in, cut some heads, business as usual. And then when you send me the text, man, it's honestly, there are people in my life that arrest me. Can I just tell you that? You're one of those people that y'all don't come through. It's about 10 of y'all out of my client base that whenever y'all book, it's like, this ain't just no haircut. It's never just a simple, I'm just going to come in, a taper. How much is just a regular taper? I don't really know what a regular taper is, because the taper is just a byproduct of this time that we spend. And so it's people like you, man, when y'all call, it's like, oh, all right, I'm going to have lunch at this time to this time. I got to be looking at something, reading something, because he going to pull on me, man. And it felt like it was a burden, but it never is. No. It's always like an opportunity, like you said, that bring opportunities. So, man, I just appreciate you being intentional and unapologetically being who you are, because you're a blessing.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Right back at you. I think, too, same sentiments, man. I just know that, and we've talked about this before, just in all that you do. Yeah. Right. It's continual pouring out. Like the barbershop, pastor,
yes, sir.
The service work is continual pouring out. And we've talked about this before too. Like, it's in us. It's in you. You got to prepare. Like,
come on, man.
But think about it. I mean, just is what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to be able to have that in my life, because it's refreshing. It's an opportunity for me too. And like you said, it's not just to come get a haircut.
Right.
And it's way more than that. I'm better, a little better looking too. But I'm a better person every time I leave from being in this chair with you, and I'm grateful for that.
So I appreciate that. As you, and I know we're trying to land the plane, but as you said that, I thought about the fact that I came from a culinary background, right? And as a chef, I never liked serving leftovers. I mean, soup of the day, soup du jour, as they call it, y'all may not know, but that's usually just leftover stuff that they couldn't do nothing with the day before. They just throw it in a pot and a little broth or something and buy it out. Now we can make profit on it. I always internally had a problem with that. I felt like I was cheating people because I was selling something as if it was new when it was really goulash. Even some gumbos. I know y'all love gumbo here in Texas. It's really just a lot of stuff that's just leftovers thrown in a pot. And so in my relationships, even in preaching, it carries over. I very rarely preach a message that I've preached before. I've been preaching this year, make 30 years, and I can count on two hands the number of messages that I preached again. Because I just feel like there's so much revelation, but in these exchanges, you'll say, well, you said that before, or we talked about this before, but it's so different that it's still got orange and blue and yellow in it, but that is not the same balloon that we talked about. And that's the part that makes me feel the nervousness when Chip is coming, because it is in us, but I can't go in there and open the Tupperware and just stick it in the microwave, hit 30 seconds and put it on the table. I feel like I owe our relationship enough to go in that kitchen and
put it down.
Yeah, man. I got to make some noise, move them pots around. And so you bring that out of me, and it's challenging, but those are the people in my life that I have the most respect for. It's the people that challenge me, like you said, to be better.
And that's what I was gonna say that too. Like it's the respect piece.
Yeah, facts.
Because it's the same, you know. Although you know I say it's in us or whatever, but like I'm not gonna ask you to do something and not come here and not be prepared either.
Wow, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna at least take a couple notes.
Yeah.
At least think about some things of how I see your added value can help the world. You know, and so and again, that's just the respect piece. Like I know, I respect the value that you offer. You know. Wow. And so it's a blessing to have people that view you in that manner too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. It holds you accountable.
Yeah.
So I think about when they'll ask a player, you know, they've been playing 20, 30 years, or let's say 20 years in the sport, and they ask, man, when are you gonna retire? And they'll say something like, whenever it stops being fun to me. Yeah. Whenever it starts to feel like work, you know, and it's that thing that'll find you starting at 3 years and 5 years and 10 years, and now you in your 20th year, and you still like LeBron. You still putting in the work. You still loving it. You still dominating,
and still able to.
That makes you think maybe next year I'll retire. You know, and so it's that love that I guess at the end of the day we bring to our relationships with people, with the world, even through this platform and others that you so affect people, that it feeds itself. Yeah. And when you stop being able to be effective, then maybe that's when you should retire. Yeah. But mama say good meat make its own gravy.
Make its own.
That's what I'm on, man. This is that right here. Yeah, so respect, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
So what's next for the Success Chronicles before we go home?
Man, just continuing to highlight and show appreciation for great people, you know. Kind of hitting on the theme of what we were talking about, you know, to finish. Opportunities bring opportunities, you know. I had a speaking engagement last week. Harris County juvenile probation, and it was the leaders in the room for Harris County juvenile probation, and like they all run their own different facilities or departments within Harris County juvenile probation. I got an opportunity to meet one of the guys, James Olalakon, he runs the Opportunity Center. And it's so amazing, man. He was like, man, I'd love you to come out and do a tour just to check out the facility. And he said this to me. He's like, man, like I can tell you about it, but I would love for you to see it. So I did that this morning.
Okay.
So I went out and checked that out, and it used to be a lockup facility. A place for juveniles. It was a lockup in Harris County, but they took off all the doors that were lockup doors and changed them into push doors.
I think I've heard of that.
So now they changed the name to the Opportunity Center, and so adjudicated teams can get their GEDs there, and it's so great, man, because it's in the hood, and so they're tapped into the community, like the kids. Like they have a barbershop that they run in there.
Wow, okay.
They do, like, they got a podcast studio.
Yeah.
Man, the one that they got in Houston, they got it at another place, Jelly Roll, when he was in town.
Okay.
Kids interviewed Jelly Roll on the podcast.
Okay.
It's like, they got a booth. in there like a studio,
Right.
where they teach different things. And this school year, they made 50 songs.
Okay.
And like they do behind the scenes business.
Right.
And like it's no Rudy Poo people. The guy that teaches the classes, the guy that produced the song, Still Tipping.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got an opportunity to
Yes, sir.
to do that this morning, but just going on the opportunity piece, what's coming up next, man, is just really just continuing to understand the opportunities bring opportunities and striving to. And so we did today just kind of a walkthrough, filmed it. So I'm gonna put that out.
Yeah.
Just to shine some light on that, because there's so many great people. There's so many great people in the world doing great things that don't even get noticed.
That part.
I mean, like just do their thing every day.
Yeah, every day.
Just show up for people and
Right.
give service and help, and don't even ain't on no social media. They just show up and help folks, and they don't have to, but they choose to. And so for me, I think that's really what it's about. It's what I'm striving to continue to do. Just do my part to make it all better.
Yeah. Well, you're doing that, sir.
I appreciate that, brother. Blessed to be a blessing.
Yes, sir.
You know that life.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Come on. Daddy. Go get it.